Karan from MTech Viral, and I am here with another tutorial which is a very new technology and which is very interesting for you guys because I know that everyone loves new technology. So what we are going to do today is we are going to develop another application, but which will be based on this new technology, which is Fuse. So what is this Fuse? Actually, this Fuse is a tool for building cross-platform apps using JavaScript. So this is a cross-platform application tool. So what it means that it will be for both the operating system, which is iOS and Android. So as I promised that we will only work on projects from now on. So this is what we are going to do. So today what we will do something which is creating a hacker newsreader app. So it will be basically a newsreader application, and we will develop it for both of the Android and iOS. So this Fuse is currently in beta stage. So what I will suggest that you have to wait for complex projects to make complex projects in Fuse, but it is really very nice, and you will love after using this. So let's get started with our project. So first of all, what we have to do is you have to install Fuse, and for that what you have to do, you have to go to fusetools.com, and before installing Fuse tools, I will suggest that you should have the configuration of Android Studio or Xcode for iOS application, because if you have Android Studio already installed, then you don't have to do something like downloading the SDKs and other tools, and similarly for Xcode. So if you don't have those applications installed, then you have to install them first, then only you can proceed with this Fuse tools. So after installing Android SDK and Xcode, you can install from here, and for that purpose you have to first of all register here, and this is currently in beta. So you have to register by your email ID, and you will directly able to download the Fuse tools. So after downloading Fuse tools, what you have to do, you have to open the Fuse tools, and this will look like something like this. So here you can see. So this is Fuse tools, and what we have to do, we have to create a new project here. Okay, so one more thing I want to tell you that before proceeding for this Fuse tools, I will suggest that you require a text editor application, which I will suggest you should use Sublime, because Fuse is already integrated with Sublime. You have Fuse plugin also. So what it will do, it will do some basic features in that particular application, like the code completion will be there. You can see the logs very well in this Sublime text editor, because there is no IDE for this Fuse. You get only Fuse dashboard. So what I will suggest, that you should download Sublime text editor, and believe me that this is the best editor uh, uh, for me and for everyone, because I love it, and you will also love it. So what we will do, we will start with a new project, and we will name it as something like Hacker News Reader. Okay, so we can only give it a name as Hacker News, and then you have to decide the destination directory, and you will press OK. So this will create a project for you, Hacker News, you can see. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to open this project in Sublime text editor. So this is my Sublime. So what I will do, I will here is the default file, which is mainview.ux. So this is how your app will look like. This is based on that particular thing, and I will increase its size a little bit so that it will be good for you. to understand it. So this is how it will look, and let's run this application once. And we haven't done anything, but it has something by default, and let's see what it has. So we will go to Fuse dashboard. We will start the app preview. Here you will select local and start this. So let's see what's going to happen, and it will start something, and let's see what it is. So as I can see, it is loading a project. So this is you can see that this is the basic by default which is provided by the Fuse, sorry. So what it is saying, that tap and hold the rectangle. So so here you can see, so this Fuse has something very nice, which is animation. They have worked very good on animations, and it will be amazing. I can say that because I have used some applications in Fuse, and they are really amazing. And if you will slide this, then you can see that logic with JavaScript. Tap the screen to add items. So I will tap here, and here you can see that this is adding items, and it is looking very nice. So this is another thing, which is real-time effects. So what this means is that if you are changes if you are doing changes in your code, then also you can see the changes are reflected on the runtime. And this is a very nice feature, because this is not available in native Android or iOS development. So if I change its value in the slider, then you can see the blur effect, and this is really nice. So this is the basic thing, and this is the by default thing which is provided by Fuse. So what we are going to do, we are going to do something which is a hacker news application. So what we will do, we will open the Sublime text editor, and we have to start from something. One more thing I want to tell you, that if you will open this Fuse dashboard, or we will come to this later. First of all, let's start with this project. So what we will do, we will start by going to main view.ux. So all this code, I'm going to delete this code. So you have to remember one thing, that this main view will start from app tag and will end to app tag. So I'm going to add some little changes here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a link to the app wide JavaScript file. So what I have to write is JavaScript file, and I'll get a name. So here you can see I have given a name, js/app.js. js is basically a folder name, and app.js is a JavaScript file name. I haven't still made this file, so I'm going to make it here. So what I will click on new folder, and I will name it as JS. So here you can see I have a new folder which is JS, still not available. Let's see what happened. We will again make a folder, and so here you can see it is now available. So here is my JS folder, and I have to make another file here which will be app.js. So I'll name it app.js. So cool. So in this app.js, I have to do some changes, which will be so what we have to define in app.js. Before that, I will go to main view.ux, and I will do some changes. I have to make it this is correct. So we will go to app.js. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to give some default values that will be used by the app. This includes the title that will be displayed on the header, the current page that the user is currently viewing, and the URL of the web page that is used by the web view. So these values are all set as observable values, which is using Fuse.js/observable. This is a built-in library in Fuse that allows you to use two-way data binding. So this means that when you change the value of each of these observable variables in the code, it will also get reflected in the UI and vice versa. So what we will do, js/app, we will do, so first of all we will declare a constant which will be declared as const app underscore title. This will be my title, so I'm going to give it as hacker news. Okay, and another thing is we will make a const which is observable. So here it is observable, and we will declare the plugin here. And if you are aware of JavaScript, then we declare the plugin as this. So this is a very easy actually. If you will practice a little bit, then it will be a wholly easier for you. And we will declare another variable which is current page, and we will call this observable here. And I have to give a page name here, which we will also make in the JS folder. So let it name as news items. Okay, so it is cool. Another will be the current URL. So this will be my current URL, and so I don't have any URL right now. I'll give this URL later. So this is how it will look first of all, and let's set the title in the variable observable, and we will give here the app title. So these are some basic variables, and now what we have to do, we have to define the function for navigating between the news item page and the actual web view. So here we are updating the value of the current URL if context.data URL is present in the argument that was passed in the function. So we also take the first 20 characters from the title of the news item and then set the current page to web page. So what this will do, this allows us to navigate to the page that displays the web view. So otherwise set the current item to the news items page and set the title back to the title of the app. So what this is all about, I can understand this will be little complex for you, but believe me, let's make a function for this and you will understand this in a much better way. So let make a function navigate page, and I will pass the context here. You can say that context have the information about the page, right? So I will make if else call here. So if context dot data dot URL. Okay, so what I will do, that current URL dot value is equal to context dot data dot URL. Okay, so this is I have set the current URL value, and title dot value, I should write title dot value will be equal to context dot data dot title dot we will set the substring here. So substring 0 to 20, and what we will do, let's add a plus also here, and dot dot dot. This will be good. So another thing we will do is current page dot value, and it will be equal to let's say web page. Okay, so these are the if case, and we will also make a else case here. If the context dot data dot ul is not there, then the title dot value will be equal to app title, which means you are on the current page, and the current page dot value will be your news items. Okay, so this is something which is our function, which is navigate page. And now what we have to do, so that you could refer to the variables in your UI, so that's why you need to use module.exports to make them available. So we will do this module.exports to make these variables available in your UI. So what we need is, we will do is module.export. This is basically exporting in the UI, you can understand like this. So what we will do in this, we will write title here, title colon title, comma navigate page colon navigate page, comma current page colon current page, comma. So this is simple, you have to just declare all those things. Current URL is equal to current URL. So this is how it will work. So now what we will do, we will go back to our main view.ux, and now we have to change what we have to do, we have to make something when we are navigating between pages. So what we will do, we will declare something which is page control. So page control is something which will help in this. So how we will declare it, we will write page control active, and we will write here the current page. Okay, so this is how it will work. This is fine, and we will end this page control here. Okay, so now inside we have to define all the pages which are used throughout our application. So here we only have two pages, that is, first one is news underscore items, which I defined in the app.js, and another one is web page, which will be when you click on that particular item. So we have added an active attribute here whose value is current value of the current page variable, and in the app.js file we have set this to news items, which means that it will use the news items page as its default page. So if you want to navigate to the web page so you can simply update the value of current page to a web page. Yeah, so Fuse will automatically handle that transition effect for you. So by default it will use a sliding animation. So what we will do right now, we will give page name here, page name, and page name is, as you know, that news underscore items. Okay, so this is our page name, and we will give another page name here. So this is page name is equal to web underscore page. Okay, so this is our another page, and we will end this page also. So let's first look at the contents of the news item page, and here we wrap everything in doc panel. Okay, so doc panel is something which will be used to wrap everything in a particular page. So this will help us in to allow the dock elements in a specific position. So by default this is set to fill, which means that it will take the entire screen. So let's do it like dock panel. Before doing this, we can move to our news items.js, which we haven't made yet. So let's make it first. So new file, and we will name it as news items.js. Okay, so this will be our another file. Okay, so let's so this is our news items.js. Now we will go back to our main view, and we have to define our dock panel. So what we will do is, first of all we have to make some changes. We have to make this as capitals. So this is the issue here. I'll make this capital because first alphabet will be capital here. So now what we have to do, we have to make dock panel which will hold those things. So first of all let's make a dock panel here. So it is our dock panel. Okay, and let's end it here so that we can do some work here. So in this dock panel we will make another JavaScript file, which will be JavaScript file and js/news items, which we made right now. So news items.js will be there. Okay, so and we will end this file. Okay, so we will again go back to the news item.js, and we will fill here some thing, which is we will take a const observable. I will tell you about these things very soon. First write this code. Require use or js/observable. Okay, so this will be a first line. Then we will have a loader capacity. Okay, so loader opacity, sorry, and we will give it a value 1. I'll explain this, wait for a few minutes. Then we will take another variable which is news items, and it will be equal to observable function. Okay, and then we will take another constant which will be, you can say, top stories and URL. Okay, so this will be our top stories URL, and we have to specify the URL here from which we will get the data, or we will display the detail of that particular news item, which will be in the form of JSON. So this will be the URL. You will write https://hackernews dot firebase.io.com/v0/top stories.json. Okay, so this URL will give you the top stories in the JSON form. So this is how you will do it. So now we have top stories URL. Now we have to take another variable which will be variable story underscore promises. As I told, I will explain this after writing some code. Now we will write fetch top stories URL dot then function, and parameter will be response. Okay, and there will be return response dot JSON. So it will return this. Okay, now after this, what we have, we will then dot then function, and in this we will have top stories. We can write top underscore stories. Okay, what it will include? It will include something which is, we have to make a loop here so that we will be able to input all the values in our application. So for variable x is equal to 0, x would be less than equal to 10, let's say, and x plus plus. This will be our for loop, right? And in this loop, what we will do, we will take another constant, story URL. Okay, story URL, which will be equal to that I should write everything, https underscore hacker news dot firebase io .com slash v0 slash item slash, and here we will add top stories, and we will pass x here plus dot JSON, right? So this is little complex, but it's just when you will write this code by yourself, then you will understand it in the proper way. So what we will write story URL here, and then we will do the same thing, make a function in which we will have a response. In response, so we will write return response dot JSON here. Okay, and then in next line we will do the same thing, dot then function. In this function we will have news, and in this news there will have news items dot add. So we will add title, news dot title. Okay, and then next thing will be URL. URL will be news dot URL, and then time will be news dot time. Okay, so these are the things which will be there. Then after this we will write story promises dot push. We will push that particular p here, which is our const p. Okay, and after this we have to promise dot all story promises. I'll explain this to dot, then we'll again make a function here, function which will be blank here right now, and in the function we will use our loader opacity dot value is equal to 0. Okay, so this is a little complex for you, I can understand that, but before proceeding, what I will do, I will write here one more line which is dot catch. If there will be any error, this is used for that purpose, dot error. And what I will write console dot log some problem, you can write problem plus error dot message, right? So this is our catch function here. Now to reflect it in the UI, what you have to do, you have to do module.exports, as I already told you in the app.js. So what we have to do, we have to two items to load news items is equal is news items and loader opacity column loader opacity. So this is our news item.js. Now I will explain this. First of all, what we have to do, that each instance of the JavaScript component in Fuse has its own constant context basically. This means that even if you used observable earlier, it won't be available here. So in the first line I have used the observable again. Okay, so this is the reason. So then after that, what we have to do, we have to define the value of the loader opacity. This is the opacity for loading the animation that will show to the user when they open the app. We need to set it to 1 by default, because the news items needed to be loaded from the API first. So while the app is loading that particular API, that particular data, we show the animation to the user. So later on we will update its value to 0 to hide it from the user's view. So first of all we have used it as 1. So we will you can see that we will change its value to 0 to hide it. So after that we have initialized the observable list. Okay, and then we have added the URL. So what we have to do, we have to return each of the promises. We have an array for storing the promises that will be returned by each fetch call here. Okay, this is array of story promises which will be returned by this fetch call here. So we have to give the detail in the fetch URL. So this is the first function, which is response. It will give us the response.json. It will return the data in the JSON form. So what will happen, this will return an array containing the IDs of the top story from the Hacker News. So we only need the first 10, that's why we have used the 10 here in the loop. So we have used a for loop to loop through the first 10 items. So on each iteration, construct the URL for the endpoint which returns the detail for each individual news item. So once the URL is constructed, make a separate request for each item and then add it to the observable list that we created earlier. Okay, so this is what is happening here, and each promise is also pushed to the story promises array here, you can see. So after this happens, this basically allows us to determine when exactly should we hide the loading animation. So promise dot for all function is for that purpose. So it will accept an array of promises, and if all the promises get resolved, then the function that you pass to then gets executed, this then is executed then. Okay, so what we have done, we have set the loader opacity value to 0 here. So now to uh, reflect this in the UI, we have to module it. Module.exports is for this purpose, and this there is catch function, which is basically if any error occurs, then it will do the needful thing. So we will again go back to the main view.ux, and what we have to do, we have to add the placeholder for the status bar. This is because Fuse automatically occupies the whole screen. If you don't add this, the status bar won't be visible. So what we will do, we will here write status bar background dock. So this actually I have installed the plugin, that's why it is giving me suggestions. If you don't have any plugin in this Sublime text editor, then it will not give you the basically these suggestions. So after that we have to add a header using a stack panel. In Fuse we use a stack panel as a container if you want to take its children on the top of each other for vertical orientation. So what it do, it sets its dock attribute to top so that it will be placed right before the status bar. Okay, so what we will do, we have to make a stack panel here, I guess. Let's make a stack panel here. Stack panel. Okay, in stack panel what we will do, we will declare dock is equal to top. Okay, we will give it a color. Let's give it as FF6600. it will be something like orange. This will be our stack panel, and then we can give text here, font size, which will be, let's say, 18. We can set the margin here, which will be, let's say, 0, 10, 0, 10. This will be fine, and we will give some alignment also, and let's say vertical center, and text alignment will be text alignment can be center. Okay, let's say it's center. One more thing, we have to give the text color. So let's give text color something like it will be okay. And the value, what will be value? Value will be the title, because we are talking about the status bar here. Okay, this will end our text here, and this will be our stack panel. Fine. So now what we will do, we have to use a scroll view here, so that a vertical scroll bar is automatically generated, so that if the news item goes over the available space, then we can use it. And in Fuse you use the each component to generate a list. For each list item we create a panel which when clicked execute the navigate page function that we defined earlier. Okay, so we don't really need to pass anything to this function, because the context in which it is called is automatically passed in as the first argument, if you remember. So this is the reason we were checking the context.data.url. Okay, I can show you again. So here you can see context.data.url. okay, so now what we will do, we will make a scroll view here, scroll view. Fine. In a scroll view we will take another stack panel, we will give it alignment, which will be top. In stack panel we will have each 4 items. Okay, items will be, you have to declare what will be the items, so it will be news items. Fine. Now we will take panel here, and what will happen when it will be clicked. So panel clicked is equal to navigate page. This will be our function. Okay, now give it a alignment to vertical center. So this is how it will work. Now we will give it a text, and we will set the margin by 10, 20, 10, 20. Now we will do the text wrapping here. We will make it as a wrap. We will give the font size, let's say 20. We will give the value of this item, and value will be the title, obviously. Now this is the end of our text, and this is the end of our panel. And what we will do, we will draw a rectangle here. Rectangle, we will set its height, let's say 1. We will fill it by a color, let's say a DCDEE 3, right? And we will end this rectangle. We will end the each. We will end the stack panel, and last we will end the scroll view. So this is our first page, which is basically the, if you see, the news items page. Similarly we will do for the another web page, which is here, this web page. We will do the same thing which we have done. Let's change it a little bit on the spelling. So we will do the same thing. I'm just so this is how we will do this. This is same. We have to set status background, status bar background. We have a wrap panel which will be dark, and this is the same thing actually. And I will explain this also. So after this, what will happen, this is basically contents of the web page. Just like the news items page, we are wrapping everything in a dock panel, and we are adding the status bar background as well. So the header is a bit different, because this time we have a text element which when clicked or pressed executes the navigate page button. Okay, so this is this button which will be known as the back button. Okay, so when we will click on back button, it will take us back to that particular page, and once execute this, and then only you can understand what's actually happening here. I'll leave this panel and loading bar here, and I will explain this also. So we have to define a reusable component by supplying a UX class attribute, which is here you can see in the panel, which is named as loading bar. Okay, so the value that you give to this class will be the name of the component which will inherit from the from this component. Okay, so this will serve as the progress loader for the web page. Okay, so loading, you have seen the loading bar on the top somewhere in application, so this is the same thing. Okay, so we can change its width also later. So this is lastly what we will do, we will use the web view component to display the news item selected by the user. Okay, so for that purpose this has to be wrapped inside a native view host. So for that purpose we have used this native view host. Okay, so also take a note of that use of progress animation component, so that we we can show the loading status. So what this will allow us to change the value of the loading bar to 100% over the course of the page load. So basically this gives the user an idea how much longer to wait for the page to fully load. So this is all about this progress animation and this change tag. So this is basically end of this particular web page. Now what we have to do, we talked about animation, and Fuse really shines when it comes to animation, because as a bonus, let's see how we can implement two kinds of animation in one go. uh, this is basically optional, not necessarily, but we have already done this, so I'm gonna explain this, because this is something which will be helpful for you if you want to do some animations. So what we will do, we start by creating a loader box using a rectangle. So I will declare it first, and then only you can understand this. So let's so here above the scroll view, we will define this rectangle. Its width is 50 and height is 50. This is basically a square, and as I told you that there inside it, where the default scale and rotation is set to 1, which means that the default scale is width and height that you defined. Okay, and rotation degree is set to 0 here. Okay, degree is equal to 0, which means that it is not rotated. So we add a UX name here to define a property to each one of them, so that we could control the values using an animation timeline. So we have defined a timeline here, and uh, this is basically for the loader box, and mode is basically wrap, which means that the application will execute infinitely. Okay, so by default this is set to once, which means that the animation won't restart once it's over. So to change the value of for the scale and rotation, use the change operator. Okay, so we have used the change operator here, and UX name is the same. UX that is basically the animation properties of the loader box. Here we are setting the scale factor to 1.5 to increase the size of the box to half of its original size, and then rotating it by 360 degrees. So these two animations are executed at the same time over the course of 1 second. You can also specify the easing, but I will leaving it you to explore what quadratic in out is. Okay, so you can do this by your own, and this is basically all about this tutorial, and we are ready to go with our application, which is our first application. So it was a little difficult for you, but believe me that if you will go through it once, actually I'm writing the whole code, so that's why it's taking some time, but believe me, you have made this application. And there are only 3 classes. First one is mainView.ux, in which you have done the UI work. Another one is newsitem.js, in which you have done the news item thing, which will be items which you will fetch from the hackernews.com. And another one is app.js, in which you have defined about the app title and what it needed. So now we will run this application. For that, we will go to Fuse dashboard. You can run by go to tools and build with, and you have to select main view for that, and you can see here build with, there are lots of options. So I haven't configured it properly, so I will go to Fuse dashboard, and here you can see I will start my app preview, and here I will select iOS, or you can select Android also, and we will start. So let's see how it will look. So I think that you are going to do some more projects on this particular technology, which is Fuse. And believe me, it's going to be fun for you, because this is actually very nice. Because when I started with this Fuse, I was not sure whether it will work or not, but there are some changes with the time, and they are doing really very well with this Fuse. And apart from this, that this is still in beta, you have different animation is the best part here, and you have different effects, that we have different UI designs already. So it will be a lot easier for you, and you don't have to make two applications for Android or iOS. This is the main thing, and both are native. So this is similar to like React Native, but this is something which is more better than this. And hopefully in future it will become more better. And let's see how the things will go on. So this is first time on internet someone explaining this by his tutorial. And as you can see that, now let's run this application once. I'm using Xcode, and you can use Android Studio or whatever you want, so that it's taking some time in compiling. So till then, I would like that please make sure that you are using this in uh, your own computer or laptop, and you are trying to explore some new features also, so that it will become easy for you to understand it necessarily. Because if you want to be an app developer, you have two options: either you can go for native development, or you can go for this particular development. So I will suggest that both have their advantages, and this can become the future. So go for it, try it once. And we will also cover more projects, and we will also try to enhance our projects. So let's see what's going to happen. And I guess our build is succeeded. So this is our iPhone emulator. Let's see. So it has launched our application, and we are loading a project. So there is some error, which we can see that JavaScript error in JS news item.js line 14. Okay, got it. So we will move back to our news items.js, and we will check our line 14. Okay, so we are here. We have the error on 14 line. So basically what we can do, we can see it in more detail by going to this Fuse, and we can click on monitor. And here we have launched the Fuse monitor. So here you can see in the log that the error message is unexpected token equal to in the line number 14. So when we go to 14, here this is less than equal to sign. So we will remove this space here, we will save it, and we'll try to run again. So let's see what's going to happen this time. We have just done a very small change. It's connecting to our computer, it is starting a project, and this is loading our news. So here we are. So we are still unable to get our news feed. So we will check again what's the issue in our code. And here in the line 18 we can see that we have done some mistakes here. This is response, this should be response.json in the brackets, and there should be a semicolon in this. So we will again try to run this project, and here you can see. So this is actually runtime, we didn't have to again run the application. And here are our top news. So we will start with the 4G LTE protocols used by smartphones can be hacked. Donald Trump is elected president. We will click on this. Here you can see the loading bar on the top and the back button, and this is looking amazing, isn't it? So we will press the back button again. So this is your first application in the Fuse technology, and I hope that you like this tutorial. So please try to explore it once again, and here is your first project which you can use in your school/college. So this is all about this tutorial, and I hope that I can see you back in another tutorial. So if you like our tutorial or another other videos, then you can subscribe to our channel, you can like this video, and share with your friends. You can comment if you have any problem. Thanks for watching guys, and this is all from this tutorial. Thank you very much. Bye bye.